Hello friends of Sally Antiques. Today I think it's time to talk about some of the guns of the 19th century, well, mid 19th century and before that, because before the modern firearms we do have some very interesting small arms that were used by people for self-defense or for other purposes. And I'll go somehow backwards in a way. I'll show you some of these interesting pepper boxes. I think we might have done some videos of these before. Before the revolver as we know it, people tried to kind of find a solution for a multiple shot firearm. And this is one of the examples, is where you actually press the trigger and you have a hammer underneath the barrel. For us, it's quite obvious today that, oh, the hammer should be on the top. But for them at the time, it wasn't. So this is a percussion firearm, which is loaded through the muzzles of the cylinder. So basically every single cylinder is used individually. There's no sight on these guns because I don't think there was possible to do such a thing. And also they don't have a great range. And the interesting thing is that obviously this, as you press the trigger, the hammer will actually hit the percussion cap on the bottom there, and then the revolver will shoot. So basically you don't shoot, as we know today, on the top, but actually the shot goes on the bottom. So the cylinder, the barrel on the bottom of the cylinder is the one that is firing. But there are other designs, later designs as well. We have a few examples, but I'll show you just one, where someone came and said, right, but what if we put the hammer on the top? So they put the hammer on the top, and now the muzzle on the top is firing. This has obviously pros and cons. One of the advantages is that if you see this protective edge, that will keep the percussion caps in place, so you won't lose them as you shoot or you move the pistol around. So that's big advantage. Again, this gun doesn't have any sights. It was impossible to do that. Obviously the hammer goes up, so you will just aim as best as you can and try to hit something. There's variants with longer barrels like this, for example, but the idea is the same. A lot of these were made in Belgium because they have a tradition of making firearms there. Because we're talking about small guns, I'll quickly jump, because it's here, to this tiny revolver. These were very popular back in the day, in the 1860s or so. This is a revolver that uses a self-contained cartridge. It's basically a pin fire. The hammer is hitting a pin, and that will trigger the explosion, and then the gun will shoot. You have a ramrod that pulls the case out, and the trigger is folding, so you can actually conceal it with ease. We have this example box, so that's quite nice. I will move on quickly to other examples which are actually older. So before the multiple shots, you do have a lot of single shots. But before going to that, I just noticed this and I'll show you this. This is a really tiny gun, but this is actually used to scare animals, and especially dogs and all that, because this is actually made as a blank fire. This was never meant to shoot anybody. The idea is to just make a big bang, and if you're chased down, you're on a bicycle and you're chased by a dog, then this can keep you safe. So it's a really tiny, cute little piece. But you have firearms like these, which are considered to be derringers, and the way they work, basically you have one tiny cartridge, which is a rimfire. This is obviously decommissioned because it's I think this is a 2.2, so the 2.2s have to be decommissioned. But it's an interesting firearm. This is slightly jammed because of our label, but actually it does move. Again, these were used for self-defense. They come in different shapes and forms. You have examples like this, which is a slightly bigger one. You have this trigger at the bottom, which breaks the gun, and then that can shoot. You also have examples like this, which have 4 barrels, and you shoot them. Some of them shoot individually, some of them shoot in succession. In this case, I think this probably shoots all at the same time. You have a button here which will break the barrel, so you'll be able to kind of load the cartridges. Again, this is decommissioned as well because of the caliber. It's a 2.2. And going backwards, we have interesting examples like these. They are called muff pistols. They have a barrel that unscrews, and they are a classical percussion gun where you put a percussion cap, you load it through the muzzle. Some of these are rifled, some of them are not rifled. This one has safety, which basically when you cock the hammer, you can push the safety, and that technically should hold. This one is fairly old, so it doesn't hold anymore, but basically that's how they used to do it. These guns were made in the sort of 1830s, 1850s, but there are some examples which are made earlier. This is a very similar one. It's very interesting that if you look at the hammer, it's shaped like a dolphin. Beautiful thing. This actually is in very good working order, and the ancestor of that is this. It's a they are called box lock pistols, and this actually, it's a flintlock example. Again, the barrel will unscrew. So before the percussion cap was invented, people used to use this. You have some examples with a swivel barrel, and I'll show you, and these are quite significant in the history of firearms. See, this basically has two barrels, and you can shoot both of them, because when you twist this lever, then what happens is that the firing sort of a circuit is shifted between the barrels. Basically, what you have two holes, each with its own channel, going first to the top barrel, second to the second barrel, depending on how you flip it. The only thing is that obviously after you shoot the first barrel, you have to put more powder into the pan, and then kind of fire the second barrel. But again, this is very significant, because this will give you two shots. This is made by Cox of Bath, which is a well-known manufacturer back in the day. There are some interesting examples of percussion and flintlock which feature a bayonet. So this has if you shot someone and they are not really dead yet, then you can nicely stab them and complete the kill. Joking, of course. This is also a name piece. It's made by a well-known manufacturer, but this does the percussion era piece. But also there's a flintlock era piece which works in the same way. Well, this actually doesn't have bayonet, but there's an example with the bayonet that we had at one point. This has a ramrod underneath, and this is quite interesting. It's the same design. Again, they come with or without bayonet, and they all serve the same purpose. I mean, at the same time, funnily enough, you have pieces like this circulating, and this is what we call a sort of man stopper. Even if the caliber is not huge, it's actually a rifled barrel, and this will be a very good weapon for self-defense. In the sort of same period, we have guns like this. This has a self-contained cartridge. This is obsolete, obviously, the old-fashioned black powder era, but it's a rimfire. It's easy to conceal. This is probably sort of an intermediate cartridge, sort of awkward piece. This is an 1874 gun, so it's quite late. And jumping from the old-fashioned ones to some of the small self-defense guns. This is, for example, something that people would have used into the 20th century. It's a firearm that is easy to conceal. It's a really small gun. It has a magazine which you should be able to remove, and it fires something like a 22 long cartridge. And this is another example, a different gun. This is a French piece, and they were famous. They were used for by spies and by different people to kind of have a sort of a weapon. It's a weird system, this one as well, is how you kind of take the magazine out. I don't know if it has a safety, but it definitely has a very weird way of loading. because you can, I think this actually it's a single shot. No, it does have a magazine. See, this is a gun that we just received, so I didn't have the chance to actually look at it carefully. But that's probably how you eject the cartridge. If you know more about this gun, leave us something in the comments. It's interesting because yeah, you probably load it automatically or loads automatically, but you have to eject by hand. This is something I have to look into. I didn't have the chance to do it, but I think it's interesting. Might be actually a velo gun, so a gun made for someone on a bicycle as well. There are different designs. The interesting thing is that this has a purse-like holster, so it might be made for a lady. I don't know yet. I'll have to actually do a bit more research into this, but this is an interesting piece as well. Well, this concludes our presentation for now. I hope you liked the examples that we showed you today. If you're interested, please visit our website. All of them are there. You can buy yourself any of these guns.